The story opens in a massive council chamber that floated silently above a jagged, icy planet, a place so vast that the walls seemed endless, stretching into darkness. The chamber was filled with alien leaders from dozens of worlds, each species more intimidating and powerful than the last. They sat in grand seats made of unknown metals that shimmered with colors humans could barely comprehend, their eyes glowing faintly as they whispered and laughed at the tiny humans gathered below. The humans were small, fragile, and unarmed, standing together in a neat line, looking almost like insects compared to the towering figures above. The alien leaders spoke openly, mocking them with cruel words and laughter, calling them naive, weak, and foolish for even entering the council chamber. They have no fleets, no advanced weapons, no hope of survival, one elder whispered to another, his voice thick with contempt. Why waste time on creatures so small? Another laughed, leaning forward, claws tapping against a glowing console. They cannot possibly understand power. We could crush them in moments and still be bored. Yet the humans did not panic. They did not bow in fear, nor did they flee. They stood calm, quiet, their eyes steady, as if they were prepared to face every insult and scorn thrown at them. Among the humans, one figure moved slightly away from the group, a scientist named Dr. Lyra, whose calm eyes shone with determination. While the council laughed, she prepared for a secret task, one that no human had attempted before. Hidden beneath her coat, in a small containment unit, rested the remnants of an ancient cosmic ritual, fragments of knowledge long lost and forbidden by the galactic archives. Suspense built as Lyra carefully adjusted the small devices that pulsed with strange energy, her hands steady despite the pressure of dozens of alien eyes watching above. No one noticed her movements at first, their attention drawn to the larger, more visible humans, confident that tiny creatures like these could accomplish nothing. Lyra began whispering equations and ancient commands, her voice low and steady, the words vibrating through the chamber in a language that was older than most of the species present. Energy crackled faintly around the device, unnoticed by the aliens at first, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Each flicker of light, each hum of power, hinted at something immense about to awaken, something that had not been seen in millions of years. The humans waited silently, fully aware that discovery at this moment could mean instant death. Every eye in the chamber, alien and human, was tense. The humans knew they were defying the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Whispers began among the aliens, some noticing the small flashes of energy, curiosity creeping into their confidence. "What is that?" one hissed, leaning closer to his neighbor. "Some weak human trick," another scoffed. Lyra continued her work, summoning cosmic monsters from the depths of forgotten space, creatures so massive and powerful that even the aliens' advanced senses could barely detect them at first. Suspense grew as the energy around the device pulsed stronger, shadows forming like moving shapes, hints of immense bodies shifting just beyond the perception of the council. The humans remained calm, a stark contrast to the alien tension, their patience and silence magnifying the fear slowly creeping into the hearts of the powerful leaders. The chamber felt colder, heavier, as though the summoning had already begun to affect the gravity of the room, bending the attention of every being present toward the tiny humans. The aliens who had mocked humanity now exchanged worried glances, sensing that something beyond their comprehension was happening, but they could not yet identify the source. Lyra adjusted the final controls, her face serene but focused, as whispers of anticipation ran through the human line. The monsters were ancient, unpredictable, and feared by all species, yet she guided them with intelligence and care, ensuring that they would follow humanity's commands once fully awakened. The energy in the containment device surged suddenly, illuminating the humans' faces with an otherworldly glow. The aliens gasped, some stepping back instinctively, realizing that the humans were doing what no one had expected, controlling forces greater than themselves, forces older and deadlier than any weapon they had ever built. Suspense reached its peak as the first signs of the monsters appeared, faint shadows moving through the energy, immense shapes folding space around them, whispering power across the chamber. The council, once confident and mocking, now fell silent, their arrogance replaced with unease and fear. One alien general leaned toward another, voice trembling slightly. "They are doing the impossible. How can such fragile creatures summon these beings?" The humans, meanwhile, stayed perfectly calm, waiting for the monsters to awaken fully. Their unity, intelligence, and courage were their shields, their only defense against both the Council and the uncontrollable power they were calling forth. Each flicker of the device, each movement of shadow, increased suspense. The aliens, unable to understand humanity's patience and control, felt tension build like a storm on the horizon. Could these tiny beings truly command the monsters? Could the galaxy survive what was about to happen? The chamber seemed to hold its breath, every eye fixed on the humans, every mind alive with fear and curiosity. The hook was clear: the smallest beings in the galaxy were quietly, calmly, and brilliantly doing what no one thought possible, and the Council's laughter was turning into the first stirrings of terror. As the final energy pulse surged through the device, the humans' eyes glowed with quiet determination, ready to face whatever consequences would come from awakening the ancient cosmic monsters that had been dormant for millions of years. Every alien in the chamber now understood that the game had changed, and that the outcome would be nothing like they had expected. As the first shadows of the ancient monsters stretched across the chamber, the humans felt the immense power radiating from them. The creatures were enormous, their forms almost impossible to comprehend, with energy rippling along their massive bodies and eyes glowing like molten stars. The Council stared in shock and disbelief. What was meant to be a small human experiment had become a force the galaxy had not seen in millions of years. The humans remained calm, silent, and fully focused, their minds working together as one. Dr. Lyra adjusted the energy controls, guiding the monsters awakening with precise movements and careful commands. Every flicker of light, every pulse of power was met with meticulous calculation. The aliens could barely contain their panic. Some tried to move closer, perhaps to destroy the humans before the monsters fully awoke, but the creatures sensed danger instinctively. Massive limbs shifted, crushing parts of the chamber, and energy waves surged, forcing aliens to step back. The humans, however, did not flinch. They stood their ground, watching the monsters and calculating every reaction. Whispers ran through the alien crowd: "They are controlling them, somehow. How is this possible?" Another added, "This species was called weak, and yet they command forces greater than any fleet we could build." Suspense built as the monsters stretched and flexed, testing their new environment, their enormous claws leaving scorch marks across the floor, and their wings, where present, brushing the edges of the chamber, creating winds strong enough to push back the tallest aliens. One of the Council's strongest generals raised a weapon, intending to attack the humans directly, but the creatures reacted first. They moved with terrifying speed and intelligence, blocking paths, protecting the humans while asserting their dominance. The aliens staggered backward in fear. Even the largest and most experienced warriors could not predict the monsters' behavior. The humans continued their work, speaking low commands, gesturing subtly, and guiding the creatures without fear. Each human's action was synchronized, a demonstration of unity and intelligence that left the alien spectators silent and tense. The suspense deepened when one monster, larger than the others, broke free of its initial containment aura and began moving toward the Council itself. Panic erupted. The Council members shouted, tried to fire weapons, and issue orders, but their commands were chaotic and ineffective. The humans, calm and precise, redirected the creature with subtle gestures and energy pulses, showing that their control was not based on fear but on understanding and strategy. The aliens could not comprehend it. They had always relied on brute strength, fleets of warships, and devastating weapons. These tiny humans, they realized, were using something far more powerful: intelligence, focus, and courage. Another monster shifted into the air, its massive wings creating gusts that tore through the chamber. The humans coordinated perfectly, guiding it to hover and circle the aliens, terrifying them but leaving them unharmed. The audience of alien species was frozen, unsure whether to cheer, flee, or attack. Whispers ran like wildfire: "They are not weak, they are unstoppable." The humans maintained perfect calm even as one of the smaller monsters emitted a deafening roar that shook the walls and rattled consoles. Humans worked quickly to synchronize its energy with the others, ensuring no creature acted independently in a way that could endanger them. The aliens began to understand the depth of the humans' courage. Even facing beings that dwarfed entire ships, the humans did not panic, did not run, and did not falter. Instead, they strategized, coordinated, and led their monsters with quiet authority. Suspense grew as the monsters began moving in formation, circling the chamber in precise patterns, their energy streams forming shapes and signals that the humans controlled flawlessly. Every alien watching realized that the humans were not simply summoning monsters, they were commanding forces that had not been controlled in eons, and doing so with intelligence, precision, and bravery. The council, once mocking and confident, now whispered in fear and awe. If they can control even a fraction of these creatures, what could they do to our fleets, our worlds? One general murmured. The humans, meanwhile, stayed calm and focused, monitoring every creature, every movement, every energy pulse. They made adjustments instantly, preventing disaster and keeping the monsters obedient but free enough to maintain their immense strength. Suspense reached its peak when one of the largest monsters, a creature older than many stars, moved toward the chamber's central console, its claws crackling with raw energy. The humans acted as one, coordinating their energy control, and guided it away from the council while maintaining perfect harmony. The aliens were silent, witnessing the impossible. The humans were not weak, not fragile, and not naive. They were intelligent, brave, and in control of forces greater than anyone had imagined. As the monsters settled into controlled positions, the humans stood together, calm, confident, and ready. The council realized that their laughter and mockery had failed spectacularly. The humans had not only survived but had awakened powers capable of challenging even the greatest forces in the galaxy. The suspense left in the chamber was electric. Every being present understood that humanity, once called weak, had changed the game entirely. The creatures they had summoned were living proof that intelligence, courage, and unity could overcome fear, strength, and centuries of underestimation. The humans' calm determination had proven unstoppable. The aliens could only watch in tense silence, knowing that the galaxy they thought they controlled was now facing a species they could no longer predict or ignore. As the monsters settled into controlled positions around the humans, the chamber remained tense, the alien council staring in disbelief and fear. The humans had done what no one thought possible. They had summoned beings stronger than fleets, older than entire civilizations, and yet they controlled them calmly and intelligently. Whispers and mutters spread among the alien leaders. "This cannot be real. No species could have this power," said one, voice trembling. Another added, "They were called weak, and yet they command forces beyond anything we imagined." Outside the chamber, massive energy readings began spreading across the galaxy. Alien fleets detected massive disturbances near the Council's planet, the monster's power radiating like a storm across space. Panic began to ripple among distant worlds, as the energy of the creatures disrupted communications, navigation systems, and even planetary shields. Yet the humans remained calm, using small devices and mental links to maintain control over the massive beings. Every adjustment was precise, every command subtle, and every action intentional. Suspense grew as the alien generals realized that their fleets were no longer the dominant force. The humans, with their monsters, were now a threat that no technology could fully measure. In the council chamber, one of the monsters moved closer to a display showing the locations of fleets in nearby systems. It roared, and the humans guided it away from destruction, demonstrating that their goal was not mindless violence but careful strategy. The aliens began to understand that intelligence, patience, and focus were far more dangerous than brute strength or advanced weapons. Outside, in nearby star systems, alarm sirens blared as the monstrous energy signatures approached. Citizens and soldiers alike panicked, wondering how a small species like humans could summon and control beings of such size and power. Meanwhile, the humans coordinated among themselves, communicating silently with gestures and energy pulses. They were calm, almost serene, while the galaxy around them quaked in tension. The council struggled to maintain authority. One alien general, known for crushing entire planets with a single fleet, found himself powerless to stop the humans. Every attempt to attack, every command to fire weapons, failed. The monsters reacted before the aliens could strike, shifting, protecting humans, and deflecting attacks with precision. Suspense heightened as the council realized that the humans were not only controlling monsters, they were predicting alien strategies, adjusting in real time, and always remaining one step ahead. One monster, enormous and heavily armored, moved slowly toward a council stronghold. It seemed poised to destroy the chamber, yet the humans guided it carefully, preventing unnecessary destruction but making a clear point: the aliens were no longer in control. Murmurs of fear spread through the chamber. "They are not weak, they are unstoppable," one alien whispered, eyes wide. Another added, "If this is just a fraction of their power, we are finished." Humans were calm throughout. They did not boast or threaten, they acted with intelligence, patience, and strategy. Every monster responded instantly to commands, each movement demonstrating that humans had not summoned mindless beasts but controlled partners through understanding, not fear. Suspense built further when the council realized that the humans' power was growing. The more the monsters moved, the stronger their energy seemed to become. Even distant systems began detecting gravitational and energy fluctuations caused by the awakened creatures. Alarms spread like wildfire. Alien leaders frantically tried to consult ancient archives for knowledge, searching for ways to counter these humans, but nothing existed. Humanity had done what no one thought possible: they had combined strategy, intelligence, and courage to wield forces older than the galaxy itself. Inside the chamber, humans remained calm, almost serene, while aliens around them panicked. Whispers turned into urgent conversation. "If they can control them here, what will happen if they bring these monsters to battle?" The suspense was unbearable. Outside, massive fleets scrambled, attempting to intercept the monstrous energy waves, but the humans were always ahead. They guided the monsters with precision, turning attacks away, redirecting threats, and demonstrating a level of control that alien species could not comprehend. The council began to grasp a terrifying truth: the humans were not weak, naive, or small, they were unpredictable, intelligent, and capable of commanding forces beyond imagination. One of the largest monsters roared, a sound that shook moons and asteroids, yet the humans guided it carefully, showing restraint and control, a demonstration of intelligence and bravery. Suspense reached its peak as the council realized they had been challenged in a way no empire could have prepared for. Their mockery and arrogance had been useless, their fleets and weapons were irrelevant. Humanity had changed the rules. Energy surged across the galaxy as the monsters expanded their range, testing their limits under human command. Alarm signals blared from star systems, fleets scrambled, and citizens feared the destruction of worlds, yet the humans remained calm, precise, and in control. The council was left in silent awe, powerless to act. Whispers ran through the chamber: "This species is not what we thought. They are beyond prediction, beyond control." The humans, still calm and collected, stood together, knowing that their success was not just in summoning the monsters, but in proving the galaxy wrong about their strength, intelligence, and courage. The suspense lingered as the first signs of full-scale galactic chaos began to appear, caused by forces that humans now controlled. One alien general muttered, "If this is only the beginning, then nothing we have known about the galaxy will remain the same." And the humans, small and underestimated, continued to guide the monsters forward, calm, strategic, and unstoppable, leaving the entire galaxy questioning everything it had ever assumed about the weak, quiet species called humanity. The monsters, now fully awakened and under human control, moved beyond the council chamber and began spreading their presence across nearby star systems. Humans were calm, coordinating silently as they guided each creature with precision. Energy pulses, massive enough to disrupt alien fleets, followed their commands. Alien admirals scrambled to form defense lines, deploying warships in tight formations, their eyes wide with fear as the monsters approached. Suspense built as the humans, small and underestimated, silently observed every movement of the enemy, predicting attacks before they happened. One massive creature hovered near a fleet, its enormous shadow covering dozens of ships, but instead of attacking, the humans used subtle gestures to redirect it, demonstrating their intelligence and control. Aliens whispered urgently among themselves, "They are not weak, they are brilliant," while others shook their heads in disbelief. The humans began coordinating multiple monsters at once, each acting as part of a single strategy, a living weapon system that no one in the galaxy had seen before. One alien admiral, frustrated and angry, sent a fleet to strike directly at the humans' home base, hoping to destroy them while they managed the creatures. The humans remained calm. Using the monsters' intelligence, they anticipated every maneuver, redirecting attacks, and turning the alien fire against the aggressors. Massive energy blasts were absorbed and deflected by the monsters, sometimes smashing through enemy ships or redirecting weapons back at alien fleets. Suspense reached a new level as alien leaders realized that their superior technology was useless against creatures controlled by humans. The humans did not celebrate or attack recklessly, they acted with patience and strategy, guiding their monsters to create fear without unnecessary destruction, showing that control and intelligence were more powerful than raw force. In one bold move, humans sent a smaller monster near the central command ship of the largest alien fleet. The monster's sheer size and energy forced the enemy to retreat, leaving ships destroyed and command officers panicking. Humans calmly adjusted the monster's position, allowing it to intimidate without harming innocent life on nearby planets. Aliens gasped as they saw this level of restraint combined with control. Whispers filled the galaxy. If these creatures are powerful, imagine the humans who command them. Suspense grew as humans continued to demonstrate their intelligence, using the monsters not just as weapons, but as living strategic systems that could disrupt fleets, block communication, and change the outcomes of battles without firing a single human-made weapon. One alien warlord, frustrated and enraged, attempted a sneak attack on the humans' main group, sending elite ships to strike before monsters could react. Humans anticipated the move. With calm gestures, energy pulses, and precise commands, the monsters neutralized the attack, capturing ships and forcing surrender. Alien soldiers began questioning everything they had believed about strength, warfare, and intelligence. The humans' calmness and coordination were now as frightening as the monsters themselves. The suspense was palpable as fleets began retreating in confusion, unsure whether to fight or flee, while the humans controlled the battlefield silently, with absolute confidence. Humans moved among their monsters, adjusting positions, communicating silently, and maintaining control, showing patience and strategy that no alien species had ever seen. The monsters' presence alone caused enemy fleets to hesitate, demonstrating the humans' growing reputation as both intelligent and terrifying opponents. Alien leaders whispered urgently to one another, "We cannot win with weapons. They are more clever than we imagined, and their monsters are unstoppable." Even the most powerful generals trembled at the thought of the humans' calm intelligence. Humans continued their precise coordination, spreading monsters strategically across the systems to block reinforcements and create confusion among enemy fleets. Suspense grew with every movement, as the aliens could not predict what humans would do next, making each action a potential surprise. The humans' unity and focus became their greatest weapon, far surpassing raw strength or advanced technology. One massive monster flew high above a cluster of alien warships, casting a shadow so vast that it caused the ships to lose formation. The humans guided it to intimidate rather than destroy, proving that strategy and control were more valuable than recklessness. The aliens could not comprehend this combination of intelligence, patience, and raw power. Their fleets were ineffective, their weapons useless, and their arrogance shattered. The humans, once called weak, were now the calm, unstoppable force in the galaxy. Suspense remained at its peak as the humans moved monsters from one system to another, demonstrating that they could project power across vast distances, reshape battlefields, and control forces no one had ever imagined. Alien whispers spread, "These humans, they have changed the rules of war forever. They are no longer weak, they are untouchable in ways we cannot measure." Humans continued their work, perfectly calm, perfectly coordinated, and perfectly intelligent, guiding their monsters to enforce strategy rather than destruction. The galaxy watched in awe and fear, understanding that humanity had proven itself capable of controlling forces far beyond the comprehension of the strongest alien civilizations. The suspense lingered. What would the humans do next? Would they expand their influence, or simply demonstrate their power as a warning? No one knew, but one truth became clear: the tiny humans who had once been underestimated had now become the most intelligent and dangerous force in the galaxy, not through fleets or weapons, but through strategy, calmness, and control of monsters older than most stars. The aliens were left shaken, their arrogance gone, their confidence destroyed, and their fear palpable, as humans silently continued to guide the monsters, showing the galaxy that patience, intelligence, and courage could turn the smallest species into a dominant power. The humans had now established full control over their monsters, spreading them across multiple star systems, and the galaxy trembled at their presence. Alien fleets had begun to withdraw in confusion, their confidence shattered by a species they once called weak and insignificant. The humans, calm and focused, watched every move of the enemy, analyzing fleet positions, energy levels, and potential threats with remarkable precision. One of the largest monsters hovered near a densely populated system controlled by a hostile alien empire. Its shadow fell across planets, causing panic among civilians and soldiers alike, yet the humans guided it carefully, avoiding unnecessary destruction while demonstrating clear dominance. Suspense built as the alien leaders realized that they were no longer in control of the battlefield. Every strategy they had relied on for centuries was now useless against the humans' intelligence, patience, and command over creatures of unimaginable power. Humans coordinated multiple monsters at once, forming patterns in space that disrupted communications, blocked reinforcements, and forced alien fleets into positions that made them vulnerable without a single human weapon being fired. The council that had once mocked humanity could do nothing but watch in silent horror. One alien general muttered to another, "These humans, they are not just survivors. They are strategists, warriors, and commanders in ways we cannot even understand." The humans continued to act with calm precision, moving monsters in and out of systems, testing defenses, and reshaping the galaxy's balance of power. Suspense reached its peak when an entire alien fleet attempted a coordinated strike on the humans' monsters. The humans, anticipating the attack, guided the creatures to intercept and neutralize the assault. Ships were captured, energy weapons deflected, and alien soldiers forced to surrender or retreat. The humans' calmness and intelligence were now a weapon as powerful as the monsters themselves. Even the most experienced alien admirals began to doubt their knowledge of warfare, realizing that no one had ever fought against opponents who could combine brute strength and strategy with such perfect coordination. The humans' unity, patience, and foresight created suspense at every moment, leaving the aliens unsure of what would happen next. The monsters' immense power radiated through space, shaking planets and warships alike, yet the humans controlled every action, preventing chaos from destroying entire systems. One particularly massive creature moved near the central command ship of a hostile empire, its energy crackling, its presence alone forcing ships to scatter in fear. The humans guided it with subtle commands, demonstrating that the monsters were tools of strategy, not mindless destruction. Alien whispers filled the void. "They are not weak, they are unstoppable, and they have changed the rules of warfare forever." The humans' calmness and control contrasted sharply with the fear and confusion spreading among the alien forces. Another fleet attempted a sneak attack, hoping to eliminate the humans before they could consolidate power. Humans anticipated the move, guiding their monsters to intercept, capturing ships and neutralizing the threat without harming civilian worlds nearby. Suspense remained high, as every decision the humans made was precise, calculated, and unpredictable to the alien observers. The monsters responded instantly, each action coordinated perfectly with humans' commands, creating a force no alien had ever imagined possible. One monster, older than many stars, emitted a roar so powerful that energy readings across systems spiked, yet humans controlled it perfectly, directing the energy to force enemy retreats rather than random destruction. Alien leaders trembled, realizing that the humans had not only survived the Council's scorn but had become a galactic force capable of commanding beings that dwarfed fleets and planets. The suspense was electric, as every alien ship movement, every energy pulse, and every whisper of fear reflected their growing awareness of human power. Humans, calm and confident, continued to expand the monster's influence strategically, not recklessly, proving that intelligence and control were more valuable than sheer force. The galaxy watched, amazed and fearful, as humanity reshaped battlefields, disrupted empires, and demonstrated that even the smallest, underestimated species could alter the fate of countless worlds. The Council, once arrogant and mocking, now faced a new reality. Humans were no longer weak, they were not naive, and they were certainly not powerless. Suspense lingered as alien leaders realized that the humans' combination of strategy, unity, and control over cosmic monsters had created a force no empire could ignore. The humans, silent and collected, stood together, guiding their monsters, expanding their influence, and proving that patience, intelligence, and courage could make the impossible possible. Every alien ship that retreated, every fleet that faltered, every whisper of fear confirmed what the humans already knew: the galaxy's perception of humanity had changed forever. The monsters, immense and powerful, now served as symbols of human ingenuity and calm determination. The suspense of what humans might do next spread like wildfire through the galaxy. Alien leaders could only imagine the potential of a species that had once been called weak and insignificant but had now proven that it could challenge the most powerful civilizations with intelligence, courage, and control over forces older than most stars. Humans, calm and confident, remained ready, silently planning the next steps, showing that strategy and unity were mightier than arrogance and fleets. The monsters, obedient yet free, followed humans' guidance, a living testament to the strength, patience, and brilliance of a species once underestimated by the galaxy. The humans had now fully consolidated their control over the monsters, and the galaxy began to feel the true weight of their power. Alien civilizations that had once considered humanity weak and insignificant now looked upon them with awe and fear. Humans remained calm, moving strategically from system to system, guiding their monsters with precision and intelligence. Every action was deliberate, every movement calculated. Alien fleets that tried to regroup or challenge them were met with coordinated responses that left them disoriented and defeated without significant loss to the humans. Suspense built as whispers ran across star systems. How can such a small species control creatures that could crush entire fleets? They are not just clever, they are unstoppable. Humans maintained a silent unity that amplified their strength. Even in the presence of the galaxy's most terrifying adversaries, they showed no fear. One massive monster hovered above a heavily fortified planet, energy radiating in waves that disabled shields and communication systems of the alien defenders. Yet the humans guided it carefully, ensuring no unnecessary destruction while asserting dominance. The aliens panicked, unsure how to counter a species that combined calm intelligence, strategic thinking, and control over beings older than their civilizations. Suspense intensified as humans coordinated multiple monsters across vast distances, creating zones of influence that disrupted enemy movements, forced retreats, and established human authority without firing a single traditional weapon. Council chambers and war rooms across the galaxy erupted in urgent discussions, debates, and panic. Leaders who had once dismissed humanity now struggled to comprehend the magnitude of what had happened. The humans had not only survived, they had reshaped the balance of power, proving that intelligence, unity, and courage were far more dangerous than fleets, weapons, or brute strength. One alien general attempted to rally a massive armada to confront the humans directly. The humans, anticipating the move, coordinated their monsters to intercept, block, and neutralize the threat with ease. Enemy ships were captured, disabled, or forced to retreat. The humans' calmness in the face of overwhelming power was terrifying to the aliens. Suspense reached its peak when one of the monsters moved to the Council's homeworld, its enormous energy rippling across orbit. Alien leaders scrambled to prepare defenses, but humans guided the creature with precise gestures and energy signals, demonstrating strategy and control rather than chaos. Whispers among the alien observers turned into fearful murmurs. They are not just strong, they are masters of control and strategy, and we cannot fight what we do not understand. Humans' presence and calculated actions began to shift the galaxy's perception entirely. Species that had once laughed at humanity now approached cautiously, some seeking alliances, others retreating entirely. Humans remained calm, never rushing, always observing, and always calculating. Their unity with the monsters created an unstoppable network of influence across the galaxy. Suspense remained high as alien leaders struggled to comprehend how a small, previously underestimated species had gained control over forces that were older and stronger than their most powerful weapons. Humans, silent and strategic, had created a reality where the monsters acted as extensions of their intelligence, reinforcing their authority without unnecessary violence. One of the largest monsters hovered above a key trade route, its energy pulses creating waves that disrupted enemy travel. Humans guided it to allow friendly traffic while intimidating potential threats. The galaxy began to acknowledge that humans were not only intelligent but capable of commanding respect and fear simultaneously. Alien fleets no longer acted with arrogance, they acted cautiously, unsure of what humans and their monsters might do next. Suspense continued as the humans demonstrated that their calmness, patience, and unity were as deadly as any weapon. One council member, who had once mocked humanity openly, whispered to another, "We were wrong. They are not weak, they are more powerful than anything we have faced." Humans continued to move their monsters strategically, solidifying control, and sending a clear message across the galaxy. Humanity, once underestimated, was now a force that could not be ignored, predicted, or defeated easily. Every action reinforced the suspense and fear among alien civilizations. The monsters, vast and powerful, remained obedient yet fierce, responding instantly to human commands. The galaxy began to understand that intelligence and strategy could surpass fleets, weapons, and ancient power. The humans' calm authority, coordination, and courage had changed the balance of power permanently. Alien species whispered in disbelief, "They have conquered not with fleets, but with strategy, unity, and monsters older than stars." Suspense remained as the humans prepared for the next phase, showing that the galaxy had entered a new era, one where humanity's quiet strength and clever strategy made them the most unpredictable, unstoppable force. The monsters, massive and awe-inspiring, acted as extensions of human will, symbols of courage, intelligence, and control. Alien fleets, leaders, and citizens alike could only watch, realizing that everything they thought they knew about humanity was wrong. The suspense lingered because the galaxy could sense that this was only the beginning. Humans, calm, collected, and brilliant, had proven that they were no longer a weak species to be dismissed, they were a force that could shape the galaxy, a species that commanded respect, fear, and awe in equal measure.